information that I'm just finally starting to absorb on how my plants are surviving being frozen solid and all the freezing weather, and they're growing in the cold. So I want to know what's in the plants that are doing this. Let's take one for the team. And if you got it, smoke it. This will be a. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this live for, but. Okay, so the first thing I did was I wanted to know why my plants were able to do this. So I looked at the genes, figured that there was some gene that might help it. And I came across a few things. The first thing I came across, I guess I could go over here, see if it loads. So I wanted to know, like, seedlings immune to freezing. I'm like, wow, okay, so there's actually, a bunch of these plants immune to freezing. Obviously, I knew this. Um, got me reading that article, which then I went over here and I found that the genes are actually responsible for this. So I go look at the genes, and here we have the CBF gene. And down here, when you find out this, what is a gene for cold tolerance in plants, we have the CBF and DREB1 gene. And these genes help the plants figure out how to solve the problem with the freezing. And we can even go over here to this article over here. Let me load this one up. All right, gene that helps plants where they're cold. Now I've looked up like hemp and cannabis. There's absolutely there's no in the history of cannabis I can find on record of the plant surviving in the cold the way mine does and growing like from a seedling and all that stuff. I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure somewhere in the world maybe we don't know about or in the past, but like this whatever mutation that has happened the first time like 2 years ago when I first got my little sprout, that mutation that I got on that one that just happened to survive that horrible weather in the winter and it just grew in the winter. I didn't even really film it because I was like, it's dead. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pay much attention to it. And it just never died. And then it was like, I never had the old footage of it because I didn't document it. So then I took that plant, ended up being a male, and I bred that with all my other genetics that were planted in that spot. And then I got some plants off of that then also grew in the winter in the snow the following year, growing in the snow. I'm like, wow, this is amazing because I've got more plants. Only one plant grew in the snow. This time, more plants are growing in the snow. So I ended up killing off all the plants that grew when it warmed up, and I only kept the ones that survived the cold. I didn't breed with anything else that survived with the cold, unless it was a breeding female. I was gonna put it out there um, to breed with the males. You know what I mean? So then the year after that, now I got more seedlings growing out, and um, and now I've realized what's happened here is whatever that mutant was or that plant with the rare genes, I bred it into my plants, and then the plants then got bred into again by only the ones that like the cold, and then I plan on doing it again. They only like the cold, and now I have to get the genetics testing of my plants and show my video content to some plant scientists. I don't get much coverage or views on YouTube, but that's not the point. It's about documenting it. And if I can get my videos to like some botanists and plant people that can then take the genetics of the plant and find out maybe it's not even any of those genes that I listed. Maybe it's something totally different, you know what I mean, to the cannabis plant. I don't know. I know what I know is what I saw and what I witnessed and what I filmed. And what I filmed was the plants were frozen solid. They had a pretty good layer of ice all over it, shiny and ice, frozen solid. And then within hours of the sun coming and melting the snow, they grew. They darkened up and grew. It's kind of insane saying that, but I realized these past years, me rambling about snowweed and all this, I must have sounded completely insane to people. But as I've shown in the video, it's happening. It's just the reality. And now we know that's not some crazy magic BS stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? This is like this is scientific now. This isn't some made up crap that I'm just making up. Uh, we can actually see that there are plant genes that are capable of doing this. And from me breeding and crossing it with this, I believe that these genes have entered the genome of the plant, stronger and stronger each time. And then I believe this, that if anyone breeds with my plants and breeds their plants with my plants, we can possibly pass this gene and make more cold hardy cannabis and hemp plants. They're able to survive the cold like this. Imagine being able to sow your crop early and then not having to worry about like a frost, a single frost. I mean, some people worry about a single frost killing their plants. These plants are surviving in the winter time and growing. So imagine how easy and simple it would be for them to survive a frost. It would be so simple. It would be extremely easy. And also, the scientists could genetically isolate whatever is in this cannabis plant to actually put in other cannabis plants so that the genome is kind of, you know what I mean, the same thing. Because I believe it might be a little harder to put another plant's genome into this a different species, but they do it. As we've read in this article here, which is a good little opener for it, the way the scientists have engineered like plants that withstand freezing temperatures. You can read as I go. I'm just gonna like paraphrase, so I'm not stealing anyone's article or anything. I'm just paraphrasing the article. And they even say how the science think they might somehow allow farmers to easily, with sudden freeze, have their plants survive, and they'll be able to like sow a big field and then not have to worry about uh, sudden cold temperature happen or like a frost or something. And they even say many plants are equipped with proteins that enable them to tolerate cold weather. Some of these proteins seem to protect against dehydration, shriveling by filling the space between the plant cell's membrane and its tough cell wall, partly because plants of these genes. However, researchers are worried that transferring just one gene wouldn't do much for improving tolerance. Now, they later on say that they're wrong, that it actually did work. And now we're talking about this, the protein stuff and all that stuff. Now, we've heard about some growers in the community doing it, or actually a grower in the community doing it. Maybe there's others doing it too. I believe Twisted Roots had a, what did he call it? He had something he was putting on his plants or feeding his plants that was giving them immunity to like heat and cold, he claimed or said, and he proved it in his videos the best he could. And here we see that that actually is true, and that is the protein and how it works by filling the cell walls and spaces between it so it doesn't get all screwed up. So maybe the plants that I'm growing outside, they also just might have that natural protein in it just because I've been breeding that protein. So it could also be the protein doing it that's naturally occurring in the plant from just getting that like weird mutant, breeding that one and getting a bunch of his kids and breeding those and getting more. Let's see. This guy was using the CBF1 in 1994. He said they found that several cold regulating COR genes all carry the same regulatory sequences. See, there's more than one of those, so I would think there would be a specific one going on with whatever's happening with mine, suggesting they are all turned on by the same signal when mercury drops, i.e., when it gets really cold out. Shortly thereafter, molecular genetics Michael Tomshow of Michigan State University in East Lansing and his colleagues identified that signal and transcript factor called CBF1. Okay, so that is the name of it. And the current work, Thomas team attached CBF1 gene to a regulatory sequence, ensuring it would be active all the time. So they even made it active all the time. When they inserted the gene into this type of plant, the transgenic plants began producing the COR proteins even in warm temperatures. Experiments in which the researchers first froze and then thawed leaves from the modified plant showed dramatic enhanced in freezing tolerance. So there we go. It's got to be the CBF1 or maybe something else going on here. And this is a 1994 article. I could try tracking down some of these people that were working in Michigan on this, but maybe there's another department involved in it. I don't know. See, they're talking about 8 degrees Celsius. Mine survived minus 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Mine were covered in ice and snow, frozen in ice. They've grown and lived through like the teens, single digits, fluctuations into the 40s, into the 30s. You know what I mean? And it's not just one. It's many storms. It's like many months. So these things must be packed with that protein. My God, I mean, if you look at the frozen video that I have in my videos, and then the video like hours after that I filmed, and you'll see like my God, that ice had no effect on them, and it almost looked like that once the ice melted, they began to grow. Like it stimulated, like, okay, now we can grow. Okay, we hibernate now. Okay, now we grow. So it's this hibernation going on. Now we're gonna boldly go where I haven't gone before, and that's search further down, which you know is kind of dangerous to do when you're live on air. God, one friggin' sicko posting a dirty video of plants, and I'm sunk here with my channel. Right? I should probably put on a sensor mode. Okay, plants grow in cold temperatures. Why cold affects plants? We already know that. Human gene behind how plants sense cold winter. Plants breed to survive freezing temperatures. All right, this is kind of cool, and it's 2018. Could look at this for a little bit. I haven't read this article. I don't know if this article is any good. I don't know if I'm gonna get weird pop-ups, anything that offends anyone. So please don't be offended. I have no idea who the Generic Library Project is. But you know what? Since I'm reading their article and it's good, maybe give them a little something. I don't know, a little click or something. All credit to this page. I'm just gonna paraphrase his article or her article. Okay, University of Western Australia. We got some Aussies in the community, and I got a pop up down there. Hopefully, it doesn't bother me too much. Good, it went away. Now we got my things all shit in the bed. Okay, good. All right. Researchers from the University of Western Australia have found that an enzyme in the plant's ATP synthase plays a critical role in how plants respond to cold. The discovery, published by The new psychologists could be used to produce frost-resistant crops, which could save agricultural industry millions of dollars every year. So, like I said, my plant's genes could be $1 million rescue plan for the hemp industry. We could save millions with this stuff. And these people say that it's some type of ATP enzyme. And as we know with like ATP in the human body and working out, I'm not even going to get into the science of that, but we know that that helps working out and producing growth. So apparently plants have the same type of ATP or a different type. Finding has led to new revelations about plant response to temperatures. Dr. Sandra Kerbler from UWA and PEB said benefits of understanding a crucial enzyme for energy production being so sensitive, so cold was of great use to the agriculture industry and the future of producing frost resistant crops. Okay, so researchers have changed previous thoughts on how plants cope with temperatures, stress, and highlighted new angles for investigations. Okay, so good. Let's update what we were just reading. A better understanding of how plants and energy production is altered in response to changing temperatures could inform how we breed plants more adaptive to climate change. Okay, well, I don't know, like the article didn't really give us anything. Read full original article here. Okay. Seedworld.com. Shout out to seedworld.com. I'm going to be reading their article and I'm just going to paraphrase it. Not stealing their article, I'm just reading their article. Research from the University of Western Australia. Okay, we read that part. Yep, researchers. Read that part. Okay, in our study, we observed plants in near freezing conditions and saw there was a decrease in production of ATP, a plant cell's main uh, a main energy currency, which led to growth, Taylor said. Based on a number of international studies, it was previously thought that other components of energy production were more sensitive than this enzyme. However, we were surprised to identify ATP synthase as a culprit. The finding has led to new revelations about plants' responses to temperature. Dr. Sandra Kupler from UWA and PEB said the benefits in understanding a crucial enzyme of energy production being so sensitive to cold of great use to particular agricultural industry and future frost producing resistant crops. The research has changed the previous thoughts on how crops cope with temperature stress and highlight new angles of investigation, Kerbler said. A better understanding of how plants energy produce. We already read all this stuff. And you know what? There wasn't anything new there. I don't know. We didn't really learn much from that article. We just know that there's a friggin' ATP in plants. I believe we already knew that. There's people in the community that knew that. It's nothing new. Gene behind how they sense weather. Best prospects plants behind. Medical. Genetic approaches to improve cold tolerance in petunia. Oh. Weather, winter. So they say turns on flowering gene. Let's see here. Give us something more. New science helps plant grow in cold climates. That's actually an interesting one. This is actually interesting. Cheers to anyone watching. I can't even see if anyone's even watching. I'm just reading the news. All right. New discovery may help plants grow in cold climates. Okay, 2010. Okay, so they're growing on an Arctic landscape. Shout out to Science Line. I'm reading your article. And researchers at the University of Edinburgh and the University of York in the United Kingdom have discovered that protein called spatula, that's a funny name, causes plants to stop growth when temperatures get too low. Scientists found that Scientists found a mutant plant in the cabbage family that doesn't produce spatula. In the paper published last month in the Currency Biology, the team reported their findings. When the conditions are warm, the mutant and normal plant growth at the same rate. But when temperatures drop below 59 degrees Fahrenheit, the mutant grows twice as fast as its cold sensitive sister. Okay, so now we know that there is what did they call this? Was it a protein? There's another protein called a spatula that actually gets the plant to grow in the winter. And what was I just saying? How my plant was growing in the winter, and they said it was a mutant. And I just actually was actually calling it a mutant. Very weird too. Wow, that's amazing. So there's a lot going on here, and it's hard to figure out what's actually going on with that seedling now because there's so many different possibilities. But this kind of like maybe it's all of it. Maybe it's this gene. I mean, this protein, the other protein, the gene that helps it survive the cold temperatures. It's all the combination of it. Maybe they're talking about climate change and understanding the effects of climate change, the damaging effects of climate change. And like I said, like you get this gene, you breed my stuff into their hemp, and we continue this work, and the scientists do their thing. We could have hemp that they could grow in cold climates and not have to worry about frost, and it'll up the yield. And we're not talking about smoking it here. I'm saying fabrics. I'm saying you can make fuel with it. You can make everything with hemp. The hemp industry can be massive. So if any scientists are out there and they want to get a hold of me, I'm gonna have to put some contact information out sometime for you to actually get a hold of me. So I'd say this: subscribe to me, and I'll get some contact information out. The vision of the tundra. Okay, so they're talking about the tundra, kind of dramatizing the climate change and different shit like that. Here's the author of that, Stephanie Warren. Excellent author. Now let's read some comments. Yeah, amazing stuff. Leave the tundra to the wild plants and animals. Okay. Thanks, dude. Really awesome. That's not a dude. I've got a lot of info regarding gardening here. Waiting for your next post. Keep it up. I would say yes, keep it up. All right. I'm also going to be doing a seed giveaway. I'm just, I don't get many views on my stuff anyway, so I'm just going to give everyone who's like watching my stuff like free seeds. And I figured out how I'm going to do it. I'm going to, do it cheaper so I can just do it. Not even charge anyone. I'm just going to get like a card. I'm going to get those little plastic seed little pouch things, those little capsule things. I'm gonna put the seeds in there. I'm gonna give you like a birthday card, Christmas card, or like something bullshit. Like I'm just gonna get cheap cards. I'm gonna tape that to there and stick it in the envelope and mail it out. It just costs a stamp, and the other supplies are pretty cheap. I mean, I'm pretty much paying a little bit just to have people have my stuff get out. So it's well worth it to do that. And problem is with that though, now why I've been so hesitant to actually do this for the longest time is, I don't want to waste anyone's time. God knows what you're gonna get when you pop this thing. you might get something amazingly special, or you could get something that isn't really that good. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of it hasn't been vetted. I've just been like popping the stuff that's been growing wild outside. So God knows what the other ones are. So that's why I was thinking, like, after this year, I've got to put that in autopilot out there, and then I've just got to focus on popping all the seeds that I created just to see what they did. You know what I mean? Because I got enough now to enough work to last me a while, and I can keep that out there running on autopilot and constantly creating new phenos and breeding the cold into it and stuff like that. And what I like to do is how I've been breeding out there with the cold plants. What I've actually been doing is breeding I would get like, for instance, the female I would put out there in the center would be like my main one that I love, the high cultivar, the select pheno, the awesome super frost one. So I've been putting that one out, so the male pollen hits that, and then that drops the seed. That's this crazy seed that's to it. So not only is it gonna be like cold frost resistant, it's also gonna be like probably incredibly potent, which might actually, they'll have to breed the potency out for the hemp industry, but I don't think it should be that difficult to do that. And plus, the scientists can figure that out. And plus, who cares if it's potent? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. We've grown it for the stocks and stuff anyway, so I don't think that should matter. And as I showed with the also with how I'm growing it and stuff, and they have the Jamaican purple landrace bred into it too. Um, the hemp I'm getting off of the bark is just unbelievable. It's like soft velvet. I got a video of that. So it is some quality genes on that front. And it could do a good job for the hemp industry. I'd say the cannabis industry too. And there's a lot of people, maybe they haven't been following me for the past few years. I haven't even really been able to document it much because I even remember. I even say the second year it happened. The first year I got the snow weed, I got like one mutant sprout that just grew in the ice and the snow. Uh, the second year I was like, it happened again, and I was like, what the heck? This is all gonna be dead. And I didn't really film it again, but I filmed a little bit. I filmed just enough though for it to not even be any real evidence, because someone could always say, "Oh, you replaced the sprout," or all this stuff. You know what I mean? So like I have to show consecutive day. Like, you know what I mean? When I get the snow on it, I gotta like keep showing it. The previous year when it was covered with snow, I was like, man, this thing is effed, dude. So I didn't even show it because I was like, how is this even gonna grow? I was still in doubt. I was in doubt mode because the winter was even worse for that one. And it, I don't know. Somehow it just nature does it. But the thing with nature is, what would have happened is they would have all grown. No one would have come along and killed all the plants that grew in the warm weather, and all those little sprouts would have polluted the gene pool. But because I came along and I've been selecting the only the ones that are in the cold, uh, they they breed and they do their thing. Yeah, it's very scary right now. We got a lot of snow. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that window. That's covered, completely covered. It's pretty heavy stuff. I did check on them. They're okay, and it's not snowing anymore. But it is what it is. Um, uh, it's crossed my mind to intervene in them, but like there's only so much intervention that I can do, because if I change anything about what's going on there. Like you'd say, why don't I stick a Coke bottle over it and have it like plastic ball produce like a warm climate in there for it. The outside conditions aren't the warm climate in there, and it's gonna die because of it. Whatever is going on in nature and whatever nature is doing, it's the science of the life. And if I change too much of that, I could kill them. I could kill them in a day fucking with them too much. So I gotta kind of just let them do their thing. You know what I mean? They sprouted without my help. They grew to that size without my help. So the only thing I would probably do is like I did, I caged it and make sure nothing like crush it. You know what I mean? So we have a lot of deer that would just I've seen herd of probably 20 deer come through, and they'll just trample everything. So that does suck, and they are probably heavy enough to just crush anything I could probably put over there. Temperature and light. Uh, you do it to the wheat. They learn to forget. They say plants have memories. They learn to forget. What the fuck? This is interesting right here. It's talking about something switching on something cold. Everyone has a different name for something that does it. That's why there might be something specifically different in this cannabis that's doing it. And I really need to get a scientist here. I don't know. I guess they can wait till they grow a little bigger and then we can find it, or do they need to take a sample when it's little? Let's see. Okay. So this is earth.com, Chrissy Sexton. Nice one, Chrissy, on that name. And international research team is describing the ability of plants to store important environmental cues in the form of epigenetic memory. Okay. Ooh, almost got me on this video. I don't know what it is. Alright, I'm not going to play any videos. The plants use this information to remember prolonged cold weather. This way, the plants realize when cold conditions subside so they can produce flowers. Okay, so this is like annuals, ones that grow every year. After they flower and seed, however, the memory is erased and reset. The timing of the bloom for the next season. See, there you go. Okay, so now we have more information here. We can take this bit of data and we can put that in with the other research we've done. And now we know that, okay, when I am growing the seeds, it's erasing the memory. So that's not what's doing it, because they'll have no memory of the cold. It has to be genetic. It has to be the genetic, and it has to be the proteins in the plant. Because according to these scientists, once a seed is made, they don't remember the mother plants, like when the cold is and stuff like that. Interesting. Yeah, talking about humans and stuff like that. And plants one specific histone modification called H3K27ME3 tend to mark genes that are switched off. Cold weather conditions cause H3K27ME3 to accumulate at the genes that regulate flower. Okay. Okay, they say once plants have flowered, they need to erase the cold memory from their seeds. I don't know why, but how do they know that? I don't know, but probably because I don't know. Set out to investigate how plants manage to forget. The experts analyze histones in pollen to examine whether the process of forgetting may take place in the embedded. They call it sperm. Now, I'm not saying this, man. They're calling pollen sperm here, guys. Her name's Sexton. She's calling it sperm. So calm yourselves down. I know maybe Vikings watching this. Calm down. Christy Sexton's calling pollen sperm. God, she gets covered with that, dude. You know when she grows a male plant, that shit covers her. All right, like, I hope I don't get banned for saying that. The study has identified a phenomenon, the so-called epidemic resetting, akin to erasing and reformatting data on a hard drive, Becker said. Researchers discovered that the H3K27ME completely disappeared in sperm. This is because the sperm has accumulated a special histone that is unable to carry the H3K27ME3. All right, I'm not gonna read this anymore. I don't know. I'm gonna get myself even more banned now. I just said some bad words. They already got me flagging all my shit. YouTube is not nice to me. I'm age restricted. They're already age restricted, but they age restricted anyway. I don't know. Whatever. Whew. They don't like me taking bong rips. I'll tell you that. I'll say this: it's a legal state. I'm totally doing nothing that's illegal, and I'm just puffing on some hemp. You know what I mean? Let's see. All right, they're talking about the animals doing it. I don't believe that animals do it. I think that we know. Maybe I don't know. They're scientists though. Let them post their stuff. Okay. Talking about corn when they say maize. Can we hack DNA in plants to help fight climate change? I don't know. 2022. National Geographic. I may end it on this one. This is up to date. 2022. This is what we want. I'm basically doing my research live. This is kind of what I would do on my own when I do stuff like if I want to know something, you don't ever find it in one article. You gotta like read a bunch and then piece together a bunch of stuff from different times, and then you get a better picture of what's actually going on. But whatever. Okay, University of California, National Geographic. I'm just gonna quickly paraphrase this. I'm not stealing their article. This is fair use. Can we hack DNA in plants to help fight climate change? Okay, they say using the CRISPR genome editing building of common crops, a team of plant and soil scientists. I'll take your cookies. Give me all your cookies. If you let me read it, I'll take your cookies. All right. Okay, so we can see this CRISPR genome editing. Sorry, guys, it just changed on me. Okay, editing a few common crops. The team was able to do this. So that's the editing I need to find scientists that know how to do this. And we can say where are they from? University of California. I got her name there. Jill Banfield, lab members. Pretty good. So this is confirmed right up there. Okay, they're talking about global warming, burning of fossil fuels. Plants are among the best tools to do this. Living solar cells and collectors, that is true, and they can clean our environment. But can we have to create plants and soil that are even better capturing carbon? Now, I'll say this: cannabis is the ultimate for capturing carbon. So I would think they would be even more interested in this. And it's cold weather. Okay, they can genome edit. Imagine if they could take my genome and that and edit it and put in other things. Great. New like biology test tool set rapidly DNA. Okay, so they're actually genoming it. Okay, so the Genomic Institute, IGI of San Francisco Bay Area. Founded by the pioneership of Jennifer Doudin, began to explore the idea in the earliest earnest. Okay, they're talking about getting grants, efforts using that. But what were they able to do? So that's how they're doing it. That's pretty cool right there. It almost looks like they're tissue culturing, but that might be like little like mosses and vegetables and lettuces. Okay, these are seedlings of edited genes. Genetic Institute. Proposals have been developed to genetically edit over 30 global food crops. So that is true. Those are different things there. That is a tremendously ambitious goal. Yes, optimizing plants. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so they were attempting to improve photosynthesis by using traditional genetic engineering, introduced by chunks of DNA from bacteria or other plants with desirable traits into genes coding light harvesting proteins and other biochemical machinery, whatever. Editing genomes using clustered regulatory interspaced short palindromic repeats or CRISP is different. A system that evolved in neutrality in bacteria in order to fight viruses. CRISPR is like a pair of molecular scissors that scientists can use to cut and paste edit throughout an organism's genome without producing. Okay, so this is telling us how they're doing it. That's pretty cool. So they are able to do it. So these guys are the ones that I want to get my stuff to. Tissue sample or something. I don't know. Another thing I'd like to know, can it be dried? Like, does it need to be fresh? Does it need to be alive? I hope they're not going to be like you didn't scientifically like do the videos correctly. Like maybe I should get like a newspaper and prove the dates that I'm like doing it at. I don't know, but whatever. So again, they're talking about mutant strains. So that's what they want. They want mutant strains. I have mutants, man. Cold mutants. All right. Okay, they're talking about the Final Frontier. UC Berkeley. Oh, sorry. Jill Banfield and her colleagues used genetic sequencing tool to investigate the specific microbes and carbon cycle traits in soil surrounding CRISPR-edited crops. Banfield says she's particularly interested in looking for microbial species that, like plants, use carbon dioxide directly to create their own food, and ones that produce extracellular polysaccharides, sticky, sugary substances that act like glue, enhancing the formation of carbon trapping soil aggregates. Okay. You know what's so weird? Like I don't mean to be insulting to the people like doing the research, but like they're doing all this research. Like, oh man, dude, there's people in the community that are already doing this stuff. The only thing they need is like the lab tools to prove what they're doing. It's kind of funny. Like a lot of this stuff we already know. They're trying to find the CO2. I guess they're trying to like isolate the exact bacteria and maybe they can replicate it. I understand that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like shit on things too much. These scientists, they know what they're doing. All right. But maybe they want to hire some weed growers that are doing this organic stuff and just like God knows their bacteria is in their soil. probably easily just collect samples from people. Okay, winter metabolism, tolerance frost. All right, I won't keep this video too long. It'll just take forever to upload anyway. But I'm just gonna end this one in a little bit. So as we saw, like their genes, their proteins, their enzymes, and then there's no memory at all with the seeds. So it's not the memory that's doing it; it's the actual genetics, which is a good thing of why I need to kill anything that grows in the warm weather. Hopefully, I can isolate them from like any hemp pollen that might be blowing from a farm nearby or something. I don't want that screwing up anything. All right. Well, on that note, I'll end this one here. I think it goes like this.